Hello. Uh, can you hear me?
I can.
Great. Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. We're a little early, but I'm hoping that some other folk will check in, and I'm very encouraged that you were able to do this.
Well, last
Um,
time I had a hard time logging in, so I tried doing it early because last time I had issues.
ah, and Either my network or my laptop can be finicky at times. Zoom freezes and does not always do right, but we're gonna hope it does tonight.
Yeah.
Uh, how are you? And do you have any questions right away about the EDCI program?
I just am still working. Like, I've read through all of the documents, but I just feel like I'm still not 100% sure on all of the requirements of all the things that we're doing. You know, like, and I know that'll come in time, but I'm still working on understanding 100% what all of the things are as we go along. Does that make
Uh,
sense?
well, it's like drinking from a fire hose to begin with. There's an awful lot of reading, and if you read and watch the videos on all the evidences, you know that's so. Um, yeah, tell me about your graduate program.
The one that I did before this,
Yes,
I did my master's in curriculum instruction and supervision from NC State,
NC State.
where we really focused on like how to be a good coach. And
Okay,
then I did a master's of school administration from
okay.
Campbell University, which is right down the road from me, because one of the people that I work with said, you really need to do that because you just do. So I did that. I never did my license because I never felt like I want to be an administrator.
Uh-huh.
So I did all the classes and I did all of that. So I have my degree, but I never did the license because being an administrator is not something I have any desire of doing.
And what's your role now, Anna?
I am the math instructional coach for middle grades for Harnett County Schools. So we have 6 schools in our district, and I go to all of them with varying amounts of times. Like, there are 6 schools, 2 I go to weekly, and the
Uh-huh.
other 4 I alternate my weeks of going to visit them.
So I'm going to say this if you hang around long enough, repeatedly tonight, probably. The doctorate in curriculum instruction at Gardner Webb is very, hello,
There's another person.
yeah. And can you, let's see, can you see me and hear me okay?
Okay. Yeah, where's my purse? I need.
Now Carrie's here. I'm going to just carry on with what I was rambling about. And again, you might hear it repeatedly,
Okay.
Anna. The big picture is that this program is about preparing future leaders, either to lead in schools or central offices. I think as a math coach, you're probably getting a glimpse of both, leading in a school and also seeing some of the bigger picture of the district. If you come together and meet with other instructional coaches, it's hard to do
Right.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
So again, EDCI, the Doctorate in Curriculum and Instruction program, is very heavy on the evidences, but it kind of either assumes that you're either in a leadership position now, currently, or can move into one. And the projects are all about continuous improvement,
Right.
taking your current reality and knowing how to use data and analyze data. Hi, Carrie. Knowing how to use and analyze data to lead continuous improvement in schools and in districts. And again, I think once you start to, yeah, in the beginning, it's like trying to drink from a fire hose. But once you figure out what a comprehensive needs assessment is, and that you've probably already had experience doing something similar to that, if you've worked in school improvement at all, finding out what a family community engagement project is again helping to improve the idea that it takes a village to raise the children,
Right.
and improving community and parent involvement. And the curriculum development project should really speak to you, Anna, as a curriculum coach. It's all about unpacking the standards and creating a unit that someone else delivers and that you observe and provide feedback. It's the kind of coaching that you do all the time, and it'll give others the opportunity to do that. Anyway,
And I've
through
been
the
excited
creation of,
because already from the readings that we've done,
yeah,
I've already used some of it. I was like, this is perfect. If
good.
in reading 1 week's worth of stuff, I'm already using what I've read at work.
Good, good. Let me stop there and greet Carrie. Hello, Carrie Cobb.
Yes. Hey, how are you?
Good. And you might find that muting the microphone when you're not talking gives you less feedback.
Yes.
Okay. That's a Zoom basic. And but anyway, thank you for coming tonight.
Yes.
I started with Anna, who logged in a little early. It's just 7 o'clock, I think. And I've been just rambling on about the program. And
That's okay.
initial question, and so again, big picture stuff is what I hope to accomplish in this hour, if we spend an hour on it, and trying to answer any initial questions that you have. Tell us, Carrie, what's your background? What was your master's program?
Well, I just got done with the school administration add-on through Gardner Webb.
Uh-huh.
So I'm pretty familiar with the weekly Zooms. I had a lot of fun with Dr. Lamb and Dr. Stedman. Prior to that, I have an MBA. So I came into education 10 years ago, lateral entry.
Uh-huh.
And my background is very colorful because I've had very many careers.
Well, I bet you if I say continuous improvement or quality tools and the PDSA
Yes.
cycle, how to, again, assess your current reality, use data and analyze data to set goals and action plans and benchmarks, and then to demonstrate success. I'm assuming that you have experience doing that kind of stuff, Carrie?
Yes, sir. I have one foot in the classroom and the other foot in an admin role, I guess you would call it, because I've been doing the internship over the last year.
Yeah.
So throughout this program, I'm going to be stepping out of the classroom into an AP position. But right now, I lead our school leadership team as well as our STEM Career Academy. So.
Great. And again, I think those will align perfectly with the kind of work that we're going to do through the 6 semesters of the program. Also, during the program, you're enrolled in a seminar course, which is going to get you started on your dissertation. In a perfect world, by the end of 6 semesters, you will have your proposal, the first 3 chapters of your dissertation written, and you have, well, up to 7 years after that to finish and successfully defend your dissertation. But again, the proposal stage, the first 3 chapters of a 5-chapter dissertation are baked into the seminar, and it is more work to keep up with that too. But if you're able to juggle all of these balls, because I know that a full-time job and a family, your significant other, and this graduate work, you're juggling lots of balls. And if you can manage to do that and write a dissertation too, perfect.
Okay.
This is a fast-paced program, and if you're familiar with Gardner Webb, it's not that different from others, but it's very much driven by creating this portfolio of the 7 evidences. And at the end, with that portfolio, you should be able to demonstrate to a potential employer, I have led, continuous improvement. I've led data-driven improvement programs in schools, and I can show you the numbers and show how we increase family and parent engagement and show you how the program evaluation can be used in lots of different formats, lots of different organizations. So it's very intensive,
Okay.
fast-paced, but you'll have great work. You'll develop a lot of skill and product to demonstrate your mastery at the end. Danya?
Well, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Great, Carrie. You're kind of fuzzy, Ms. Jones. It's hard to see you, but hello, and can you hear us and hear me?
Yes, hello everybody. I don't know what's fuzzy.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's your camera, not my screen. But
I'm sorry about that.
maybe that's a good thing too. Maybe I ought to have a fuzzy screen or an avatar. Listen, the other part about this program is we meet 3 weekends, and those are very purposefully. I'm going to plan and load those weekends with activities for us to do face-to-face. But a whole lot of it is online, and that other than tonight's synchronous Zoom, a whole lot of it is asynchronous on your time when you can. I know when I was completing my dissertation and doctoral program, I was a principal, and I was doing it in the morning at 6 a.m. and 10 o'clock after I put the kids to bed or after the last ball game and let out. So it is intensive, and it does require you to log on and do work each week. But it's kind of like chewing the elephant. It's a massive beast in the beginning, but if you can digest it, again, one bite and one piece at a time, it is doable. We have graduated a good number of folks, haven't lost that many, and we're here. The Gardner Webb instructors are here to support you along the way too. So that's what that questions for my instructor is all about. I've started to provide some feedback for some of you who have been early adopters and created videos or uploaded early discussion board posts. I'm going to go to my shared view and minimize all of you for a minute and talk about the course. Not that. How about this? Can you see the week 1 screen now? Hello, can you see? Now.
Dr. Palermo.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. We can see your email.
I closed my email.
Your email.
Could you see that other screen?
Can you hear me?
The Blackboard page. Can you see that one?
I was just, before that, anyway. No, but anyway, going back to the Saturday thing.
Weekends, yes. Saturday, Sunday.
Yes, now we can. But I noticed that the 702 and 700, I can't remember the names of all the classes, but they do right, but it's the same Saturday and Sunday. Does that mean we meet half the time with you, half the time with the other teacher? That's what I was confused about.
I'm assuming the second course that you're talking about is your dissertation seminar with your dissertation.
Do you understand the question?
Yeah, I'm going to schedule some time during
Because on my
the
schedule,
weekend.
I have that both the classes meet the same Saturday and Sunday.
Just come to Fayetteville Saturday and Sunday. You're going to get a little dose of seminar and a big dose of me. Same weekend.
Can you hear me?
I'm having some trouble hearing. Can you hear me? Are we good? Okay. Did that clear up the question about weekends? Okay. I'm going to try the share thing again. Again, in a perfect world, you're seeing my Blackboard course. Can you see that?
I'm going to look real quickly.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So again, I was just going to talk about the Blackboard course a little bit. I'm going to set up
Okay.
the initial landing page.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to set up the landing page each week to be the week that we're in. So if you just go to Blackboard each week and see where you're landing this week in week 1, January 16th to 22nd, and do this stuff, again, it's a big elephant, but if you chew it one bite at a time, and I think it's going to take logging in and doing this stuff more than one day, one night a week. It's going to take you several times and several hours to get all of this stuff done. But do that and keep up with it week to week, and we're going to be good as far as completing the major assignments and the work of the course. So the discussion board posts this past week, one of them was to ask you to look up the due dates of stuff. It's forcing you to look around the Blackboard course and find out when the major assignments are due in order to put those on your calendar. That's not a big, that's not a discussion per se. That's a homework task that tells me you've looked around the Blackboard site. Then there are other discussions that are going to be weightier and meatier and force you to think, to analyze, and to use the text information or source information and discuss it, truly discuss it. So that's why posting. It's still very early in this week on the 17th, but posting by Sunday night and then responding to folks by Tuesday at midnight. It's a big deal as far as participation in the discussion boards and the online work each week. Then once the evidence work starts, and that should start like immediately, then you're going to have to pace yourself and do some of that each week as well. So what questions do you have about the evidences or anything?
I don't yet.
Okay. Let me just ramble on some more then.
I'm sure I will,
Okay.
but I don't right yet.
Over in the left-hand toolbar that I can't see now on your Blackboard course, there's something called the TLMS standards, the Teacher Leader Model standards. And you should know that this course, the program, the whole program is built on these standards. And at the end, you can take a praxis exam and as a curriculum specialist. And again, the standards align with the outcomes and the assessment of the praxis. So that's a good thing. We've never had anybody complete the program and not do well in the praxis. It does assume some past or current leadership. The program works better if you're a team leader, a department chair, a coach of some sort. Welcome, Chastity. Thanks for joining us. It assumes that you have access to data. Now, let me say that because it has been a problem for some candidates in the past. A whole lot of data in most public schools is public, but for one reason or another, there are some folks at some schools, again, most of you have named North Carolina public schools so far for your work sites. You got to use data. And for instance, one of the assignments this semester is called the Comprehensive Needs Assessment. Well, this is nothing more, folks, than the school report card on steroids. It's looking at all of the data that you should already be familiar with about student achievement data at your school, about teacher perceptual data. Some districts or others do teacher surveys, parent surveys. If nothing else, you've got in North Carolina, your what's the teacher survey? The state.
TWC.
To TWC. Thank you very much. You're looking at data like that, teacher perceptual data, student achievement data, and analyzing and setting goals based on that analysis. Well, again, you shouldn't recreate any wheels, but what you're doing is the school improvement process, the way it's practiced in most districts in North Carolina anyway. Setting benchmarks, making a plan to try to improve things, putting the plan in place, seeing what happens, whether it's third grade math achievement or raising the PTA participation rate or trying to improve teacher perceptions about discipline. You're collecting data and analyzing it and making an action plan to try to make it better. And that's at the heart of the CNA. It's also at the heart of something that we'll talk about, the difference, the organizational analysis. It's kind of a CNA with words, analyzing the organization and its goals and mission and vision. And then you're also going to get started this semester on another major evidence. It's 3 big writings this semester, the program evaluation, called the PE for short. That's a 3-semester project. The CNA and OA are standalone data gathering projects, but the PE will go over several 3 courses in 2 semesters, and it's identifying a program in your school for evaluation, gathering data about it and analyzing that data and making recommendations. Do we keep this program? Do we decide it's not worth the money? Do we tweak it or do something different with something like a reading program or a behavior management program? Probably not going to change PBIS, but something like that. And so those are the 3 major evidences this semester. Does that raise any questions? Yeah, Anna, unmute yourself so I can hear you.
This is probably an obvious answer, but just to make sure, since I am at 6 different schools, is it just pick one and go with that one?
That's a really good question, Anna, and yes. What you have probably found working at different places is that some administrations, some principals, I don't want to badmouth anybody, some principals are probably more open and receptive and inviting you to join in leadership and to join in the improvement of the school. I would pick a school like that. And several of these evidences do go over several semesters, and the data that you collect in the CNA is supposed to inform the Family Community Engagement Project and several others with the data that you've gathered and shown as evidence in the CNA. So yeah, picking one, if you're bouncing between 6 schools, picking one where you can work and where the data is readily available to you is a good idea.
Dr. Palermo, with Anna or myself in mind, if our schedule happens to change over these 3 semesters, like let's say Anna starts using, doing one school and then she gets reassigned and doesn't have that school, how would we deal with that?
With difficulty. No, I don't mean to make light of that, and we have had a good number of candidates switch schools, switch jobs, job descriptions in the middle of the program. Several of the evidences, like the PE, need to be done at the same school. But that doesn't mean that Anna couldn't start her PE and finish it at that Smith Elementary School, but do the curriculum development project over at Jones Elementary School. There are some that lend themselves more to switching, and there are some that go over a couple of semesters, a couple courses a semester that are best done at the same school. So I had a candidate last semester start over on her PE after she switched schools, and it just wasn't fun. So keep that in mind, I guess, and I hope it doesn't talk you out of the program, but you should know that component, it kind of assumes that you'll be planted for a year. Other questions? Those are good ones. This is uncovering important stuff early. What else do you want to know that you maybe hadn't thought of before you signed up? Well, then I'll just keep yammering because I had a couple other topics. Shawnee,
Yes.
welcome. Well, I was going to prank you and say that we had just solved all the problems in the world and we're about to sign off, but welcome, welcome. You're joining in the midst of a rambling discussion about the big picture of EDCI 702 and the program in general. Welcome. We've got Anna and Carrie and Chastity and Danya. Am I saying it correctly? Okay. And I can see you when you come in close, Danya.
Yes, I
Hey,
don't.
there you are.
I don't know where the extra D came from.
Okay. Danya, do you have any questions?
My gosh, I really thought I had some in my head.
Okay.
But
Okay.
after talking, you kind of answering everything for me.
I'll ramble again, and then you know, if that prompts something, great. The other thing I was gonna say, oh, I appreciate video introductions. And Shawnee, you loaded one, and Chastity and Danya did see your video introduction. You're an elementary principal in Durham. If you are an elementary principal, dear, you are doing school improvement, and you are doing the. You probably have a CNA on a hard drive somewhere.
I do.
We are not going to ask you to redo that or reinvent the wheel. What we're going to ask you is for you to do a deeper dive, and I hope that we're going to provide you with tools and protocols and processes that are going to make your leadership even stronger and better.
Great.
One of the other challenges here, we're preparing many candidates for central office leadership, really, and I topped out as a principal in the public school system, but had thoughts to move to the central office at different times. I think that in a building, as a principal, you learn to manage the building and people, but if you don't know the curriculum and instruction, if you don't know what the curriculum is, if you don't know good instructional practice, it's hard to be a really effective leader. So I think, again, that this program gives you a springboard to do that at the district level, and to lead in the classroom, to lead in the school, and to lead at the district level. I'll just say it that way. Who else had done a video? I have seen Rosalind Tennies and Kristen Tate. And if you have not yet loaded a video, that's kind of like a tech challenge right there the first week is, do I know how to record and upload a video? I had to learn it, and it gets easier every time I do it now. So again, if that's not if you're not the most techie person, I'll tell you, I'm a dinosaur, and I have to try these things or get my granddaughter to show me how to do it sometimes. But that's your challenge, and so again, a lot of this program is throwing little challenges at you and forcing you to develop a skill that you maybe didn't want to. So you're going to learn APA style. We're going to learn what that is, and I'm going to do precious little instruction on it and show you where to find the resources and how to do the outline hacks on the format so that you can learn what APA style is as you write these evidences. Because I already mentioned that this program is evidence heavy. There's 7 total evidences over 6 semesters, and a lot of them, like the PE, are part A, part B, part C. You're going to do them over several courses. You're going to write them in APA style, and some of them are going to run 30, 40, 50 pages. You're going to do a lot of writing. So this is a very writing intensive program. It is, again, an asynchronous program, which I think is a good thing if you are disciplined enough to write at midnight or to write at Sunday afternoon after church, the way I got my dissertation. You can do this part-time. It's a part-time job. I want to stress at the beginning that this program is a part-time job. And if you're not good at juggling lots of different part-time jobs, then it's going to be tough too. It will also be tough, Miss Danya, for school administrators. If you're working 60-hour weeks already as a principal, I hope you can add a few more hours per week for EDCI. I remember what those 60-hour weeks were like, and I'm not sorry that I'm done that stuff now. Tech challenges, APA. Anybody? Are you all familiar with APA style? You did that in master's program. Okay, great. I was an English guy, and I had learned MLA style, and I had to relearn everything. But again, the big picture is that we want to prepare you to write a dissertation. A whole lot of your seminar course will be about breaking that dissertation down into baby chunks and forcing you to do the thinking early about what's my topic, what's my research question, how am I going to do this? And Danya was asking earlier, you know, when are we going to do this? The seminar you're really going to do on your own, primarily online, with a little bit of face-to-face contact with your coach. In this case, I'm your instructor in 702. I will not be your coach for your dissertation seminar. I believe that those are Dr. Patterson and Dr. Bull. Are those names ringing bells? Okay. I'm not sure yet whether it's going to be Saturday or Sunday, but I'm going to give them an hour or so out of our meeting time to talk with you about the dissertation seminar. It'll be a little bit of your coach and a lot of me on those weekends. And if you haven't checked the dates for the 3 face-to-face weekends, please do. Attendance is important in those face-to-face meetings, and I try to make each minute of them meaningful. We start at 9 on Saturday mornings and wrap up sometime after lunch on Sunday. I think it says 3 o'clock on your schedule. I've been known to head for the hills earlier than that. Mostly we come and try to be on time to start and work until our work is done. And I will kind of over-plan face-to-face activities that I hope will supplement and add value to the work you're doing online. We will do some face-to-face peer reviews. So I think I got the wrong date on that peer review. If it says the second week in March, we're going to move it to our face-to-face meeting in the first week in March. And if you don't have everything done exactly that week, you still have the extra week to get it done in the before the formative assessment. Because this is a program in curriculum and instruction, we try to model and practice good assessment practice, which is that you will always have formative, usually 2, a peer and my formative feedback on your evidences before you submit them to TaskStream. Carrie is a former Gardner-Webb grad. Some of you others might know TaskStream, the electronic portfolio place, and that's where you'll submit stuff for summative. I'm going to assume that everybody knows the difference in a C&I program between formative and summative assessment. But no grades on your formative assessment. The numbers, the ratings come on the summative at the end. So again, the evidences are 70% of the program in terms of grades. Your grade is 70% driven by those evidences that you'll create. But we're going to talk a lot and work a lot on those each semester. And again, you're going to have a peer review or feedback, my formative feedback without a grade, and then the summative assessment in TaskStream at the very end of the semester. Again, this semester, that means 3 big writings. I don't want to put numbers into your head, but they're usually 30, 40, 50, 60 pages. 3 big ones this semester, and by the end of the semester. So again, I hope you're ready to write. Questions? Have I raised the fear level yet?
Yeah.
Danya, if you're a principal, I can't scare you. Anna, do you have a question?
I do. I was looking a little bit ahead to next week's stuff,
Okay,
which I don't know if that's ever a good idea or a bad idea.
good
But
idea.
the clinical experience log, and I was wondering if you can explain what that is and what we're supposed, because or you point me in the direction of where I find information on what it is, because I don't seem to know exactly what I'm going to be doing on that. So I'd like to kind of know.
Sure. Again, let me see if I can pull it up and we can just look at it and see. So again, are you seeing my Blackboard screen? Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
And that was in week 2? Okay. The clinical experience log is asking you to, again, if you've been here for the whole meeting, then you know that I want you to be a leader in your school or in a school. And Danya, I guess you're going to get probably your area assistant superintendent or somebody else to sign for this. But this is saying that you have spoken to the administrator or somebody at your building who's going to act as a clinical supervisor, a site supervisor for you and your work, and who will sign off on a log at the end that you're going to create saying, I worked on these things and these evidences this semester. And it's so that we know you're talking with someone at your building to get the data that you need to complete your evidences, or that you're not making up this continuous improvement project. You're actually working with people. And so we need or want your principal in most cases to sign off on this, or Danya, someone else, a supervisor of some person to sign off on it. So where is this? Is this in the Google Docs? Let's just say that weekend one is January 26th. I'll cover the clinical experience log and you'll walk out of there knowing everything that you need to be met. It's a log that you're going to keep of the work that you're doing, and you're going to get your principal to sign. And again, I think the big question for you, Anna, is what school am I going to choose? Those rest of you, I'll share that Anna is an instructional coach and works at 6 different schools. And I'm suggesting that she pick one of those schools to do a lot of the evidence work. And I'm suggesting, again, there's a whole lot about this program that's about being practical. How can I practically get this thing done? Well, work with the people that want to work with you. And again, some folks feel threatened by a teacher leader in their ranks. Others welcome that opportunity. And you want to seek out and reach out to leaders in your school that want your help. Because in a perfect world, this is going to be a huge win-win for the school. Volunteers coming forth and saying, I want to help make this a better place. I have, because I have to create a family community engagement plan, I would like to have access to the data and to the PTA president. Would like to speak with him or her about how we might improve parent involvement in our school. You know, again, as a principal, I would welcome a teacher or teacher leader who came to me and said that stuff. Not all principals welcome that. Some feel threatened by it for whatever reason. And I hope you're not in a situation like that. Or Anna, not to ramble too much, but if you've got 6 to choose from, I would pick somebody who wants you to work there. Yeah, okay. That's a really good question. Chastity is
Yes.
Teaching 7th grade at Rollsville Middle School. And you talked about in your video about having experience facilitating professional development in diversity or equity, or doing some work with that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that a little?
Sure. So I have, let's see, first started off with a book study that I led with about 25 staff members. That was after school, and then from there facilitated some workshops on those early release Fridays, and all around pretty much how to create some culturally competent lesson plans and how to incorporate some those different pieces into pretty much what teachers were already doing, but just how to kind of facilitate those conversations within the classroom.
Have you had the opportunity to reach out to your principal and who is your principal?
Thaddeus Sherman.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Thad Sherman.
Has Thad Sherman, have you reached out to the principal to tell him you're involved in this program and that you're interested in helping?
Yes. Yes.
Good. And again, that's the way I would phrase it. How can I help? What can I do to help further the school, the continuous improvement efforts in the school? Because again, in most cases, the projects that you're going to do are closely tied to school improvement. Chastity, have you had any experience on the school improvement team at Zebulon?
Yes, at Roseville. Yes.
Roseville, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's okay.
Somebody's at Zebulon.
I live in Zebulon, but I
You live in Zebulon, okay. But 7th grade at Roseville Middle.
Yes.
Cool. The PD is perfect, and you're going to be required to do work to demonstrate that you're doing work with staff in the future. So if you already have your foot in the door doing stuff like that, in the future, what you want to do for that clinical experience log is take pictures and save the agenda or the minutes of that meeting. Have somebody at the PD take a picture of you standing in the front of the room, and we'll load that as evidence of your work. But again, I'm thinking the family community engagement plan, where teaching teachers about diversity and equity is baked right into the rubric. It's work that you're asked to do or required to do as part of the project. If you're already doing that, it's great, and you'll want to do more.
Okay.
Shawnee.
Yes.
6th grade, ELA and social studies in a middle school.
Yes.
And have you had the opportunity to do leadership kind of stuff, team leader, department chair?
Yes. When I was at the elementary schools in Fayetteville, I have been grade level chairs for of the 14 years, probably 11 of the years, and just leading in the area of curriculum for ELA, leading in the curriculum and development team at the school improvement team. And so since I'm new to my middle school experience, it's my first year in middle school, I just wanted a challenge. I wanted to see if I could teach middle school. I'm not on a committee right now. I think that everybody just thought I would fall out of middle school because it is a challenge. It's a very different environment, but I actually really enjoy it.
Good.
But I see some things in the middle school still as an outsider. I feel like a little bit of an outsider still. I'm just big ears, small mouth at the school so far. But there's some areas, some communication issues with parents. Parents feel like they've dropped off the grid as soon as the students start middle school. The communication piece is not as effective as I think it could be. And working on some relationships, I feel like with the teachers and students, there's some disposition. Teacher disposition is interesting to me in the middle school. So some things like that, some areas that I feel like I would be confident working on.
Great. And I would reach out to the principal, let him know that you're involved in the program and that you want to help out. Maybe you can get on school improvement for next year.
Yeah, I plan to.
And again, some places kind of limit the school improvement team or the leadership team. I was always welcoming anybody who wanted to volunteer to work, but yeah, put them to work was my motto. Other questions, guys? You gals, you're asking good questions. Tanya, how long have you been in the big seat as principal?
This is year 3. AP for 3.
Okay. And is there an area superintendent who's your supervisor?
Yes.
That's the person you're going to want to reach out to for that clinical experience log. And, my guess is that person meets with you a couple of times a year at least, or regularly?
I see her very often, maybe every other week.
Okay. Well, again, I would let her know that you're involved in the program. You might ask to come to some district meetings. You might ask, for permission to. One of the things that you do in the program is we do a CNA first at the school site, and then we do a district CNA next. And at that district level, you definitely want to see a bigger picture, kind of like going up in the airplane. When you're in the classroom, you got one view of the school. When you get into administration, you get a pretty different view of the school. And once you're up dealing with things at the cabinet level in the district, you get like a 30,000-foot view of the whole city, the school plus the surrounding community. And it's just interesting. And again, if that's where your goals lie, I would reach out to your area assistant and then also say, how can I serve? Is there a superintendent's advisory committee that needs people? Yeah, you can volunteer at every level and be appreciated. So good luck with that.
Sure.
I think, Carrie, did you say you're in AP now?
No, sir. I'm applying to be an AP.
Applying to be an AP. Okay. Questions about your workplace or how that's going to work out with these projects? You did ask about changing. Changing makes it more difficult. What else? Is your current workplace conducive to, continuous improvement projects and data and
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Ladies, what other questions do you have for the professor? Have a little trouble
I did. Because
I can't hear.
yes, sir. Because I just finished the Gardner Webb program in December, so I've been doing the internship.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm sure I'll have plenty of questions next weekend.
Yeah.
No questions at this time from Carrie. I'm going to sign off, ladies, and I will tell you that welcome to my home office. This is Pittsboro, North Carolina. You'll see this backdrop in my weekly videos. I do a one-way video to you each week and try to talk about the upcoming assignments for the week. I do tend to overplan and pack a lot into the weekends, and I'm looking forward to our first face-to-face in Fayetteville. That's a new site for me. I haven't, I think some of you have been to the Fayetteville site, is Fayetteville Christian School. I'm looking forward to meeting you and seeing you face-to-face there. I appreciate your videos and your comments in the dialogue board. I'll be responding to your posts there. Look for my videos. I don't normally schedule these kinds of synchronous face-to-face things, but I will do it anytime. And do subscribe to Questions for My Instructor and ask there. I do check my email compulsively, even on the weekends and evenings. Not good, my wife says. And I do try to keep pretty regular office hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Not if there's a Carolina basketball on. Please don't call. And I'll see you soon. Send questions to Questions for My Instructor. Dr. Palermo signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you.